Okay. And one, and two, and three. That's good. Always something. Thought we were ready.
There we go.
Yep.
All right, mics are on. Good evening and welcome to our February 3rd voting meeting of the Exeter Township School District. Would you please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
One correction, it is a committee of the whole meeting. I have my notes incorrect. Mr. Fike, would you please take roll call?
Julia Schaefer,
Present.
Allison Wilson,
Here.
Dr. Andrea Battler,
Here.
Deborah Bloom,
Here.
Joseph Cook,
Here.
John Fiddler, Dr. Ann Herring,
Present.
Jason Mell,
I'm here.
Travis Odom, 8 present, 1 absent.
Just want to confirm, John, can you hear me? Yes. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Mr. Fike. In addition to the 8 board members in attendance, we are joined at the board table by our solicitor, Sharon Montaigne, and members of the school district administration, including Dr. Christy Haller, superintendent, Mrs. Dawn Harris, assistant superintendent, Dr. Josh Hoyt, director of teaching and learning, Mrs. Diane Skronovaki, director of human resources, and Mr. Brian Fike, who serves as our business administrator and board secretary. Okay, there are no amendments to tonight's agenda. Oh, meeting minutes, yes. Thank you. Meeting minutes are attached from last month's board meeting. Does anyone have any questions or discussion? Okay. Again, there are no amendments to tonight's agenda. And before we move on with tonight's agenda, I'd like to take the time to acknowledge the passing of Mr. Warren Roberts in January, who is a longtime supporter of our district and served as board director and board president for 8 years in the 90s. I ask that we honor him with a moment of silence, please. Thank you. Okay, and up next, we have an academic update from the junior high school. Mr. Brown and Dr. O'Carroll.
All right, good evening. You understand, right?
All right. I'll be back there if you need me.
All right, good evening, everyone, and thank you for this opportunity. It's been 5 years since I joined the team here at Exeter, and first formal opportunity to present some of the highlights to everybody, here in this room. And this evening, I'd like to talk about a new feature to the schedule. Since I've been here, each year there's been a little tweak to the to the schedule, whether it's times or whatnot. But this year's edition has made a great impact thus far, and that is what we call our flex period. Next slide, please. All right, so the start and need, for lack of a better term, for the flex period really starts with the transition to the junior high school. As you know, the transition from elementary to Rifton is quite different for the students, but leaving Rifton and coming to the junior high school for a number of reasons leads to some needs for some support, starting with the locker. Learning the locker, that seems to be the highlight of coming into the junior high school. There's more independence in the junior high. They're not led from class to class by teachers. It's an earlier start to their day. New social relationships, and with those relationships come sometimes breakups and whatnot. And other opportunities, whether it's extracurricular athletics, different clubs. So these are all new opportunities that can sometimes add to the weight of the academic day. Next slide, please. And then with that, that leads to our journey to Flex. So all of those changes, all of those new introductions coming to the junior high school also opens up opportunities for needs for support. So in this journey to Flex, we looked at it in three different footsteps here. So identifying student needs, developing supports, and those supports can be academic, social, emotional, and then putting those supports into place. Like I said, either academically, supporting them socially, emotionally, and even we can get outside of the SEL and the academic by offering some other opportunities for students that we'll talk about momentarily. Next slide. So what does Flex look like in the schedule? So that is what the Bell schedule looks like at the junior high school. So just to explain the different colors in the letters there, the A, B, and C, that's just an indication of when a student has a lunch period. So a student may have an A schedule, a student may have a B schedule, a student may have a C schedule. That really just tells you when they have lunch. But as you look at the top of that schedule, Flex falls right under homeroom. So the students, they enter the building, they go to their homeroom, and then right after homeroom, they have Flex. Now, if you look at the amount of time there, so Flex adds up to 43 minutes every day that the students have the opportunity to attend a Flex class. What did that do to last year's schedule? So last year we did not have that. So we had homeroom and then periods 1 through 7. Last year the class times were 57 minutes long. In order to add that nice chunk of 43 minutes, we had to take away 6 minutes of time. So to add a nice structured 43-minute period of the day every day, we only had to sacrifice 6 minutes of time in the rest of the schedule. Next slide, please. So in terms of determining what we want to do and what we need to do during Flex, this was a collaborative effort. It takes information from the teachers, the principals, myself, Mrs. Mandel, school counselors, dialogue with the Office of Teaching and Learning, looking at data, and the Student Services Department. We use historic data, such as PSSA data. We use current data, such as CDT data, IXL data. But I think some of the most important data that we use to determine some of the things that we're doing with Flex are the current needs of the students. And the fluidity in Flex is where the power of it comes from in making a huge impact, because it's not something that once we start the schedule in the beginning of the year, we're kind of stuck until we have the conversation again about what the schedule looks like. If we see a need at a certain period of time, we're able to make adjustments to what we're doing for kids during the Flex period. Next slide, please. So in terms of planning the work behind and before we implement and facilitate the lessons, it was intentional on my part in my delivery to the staff that I explained that once we got to the point of developing Flex, it was not going to be more work added to them. That's a very important thing that someone in my position needs to assure the staff of, is that we are not adding work on them. So myself, more so Mrs. Mandel, I should say, we really developed the school-wide activities. With the information we get from the staff and the data that we review that leads us to determine what we want to teach at that time, we develop those lessons and activities. Now with the math and ELA, we have now transitioned a part of our flex to where our math teachers and ELA teachers are working with specific students that they have identified earlier in the year. They used data from their first quarter, historic PSSA data on some of those students, and CDT data to identify students that they were going to give more intense and real, live, and current focuses with, and they're with their own students. So they do their specific planning because it is individualized to those students, but for the building-wide activities, that work is developed by myself and Ms. Mendel. Next, please. So we like to look at the different activities and lessons that we teach in 3 different buckets, for lack of a better term. So under the academic bucket, we do the targeted intervention, as I talked about with the math and ELA. We have opportunities for academic tutoring, which in the past did not exist during the school day for students to visit, let's just say their math teacher or ELA teacher or science teacher, whatever teacher they needed some tutoring during the school day. If anything like that had to happen, they had to leave another class in order to receive that support. They no longer have to lose time in another location in order to receive that support. Writing has been a focus of ours for the past 2 years. Writing has been something in our communication with the high school that we have seen a little bit of a dip in. So that was part 1 of our writing initiative at the junior high school, was the introduction of our writing course. Part 2 has been the introduction of more focused writing in addition to that writing course during the flex opportunity. And then structured study halls. As I talked about, each year there were changes to schedules, and some of those changes were led by the loss of staff. In the past, we were able to build in study halls due to the number of staff that we had. Unfortunately, that decrease in the number of staff did not allow us to build in study hall opportunities in student schedules. Now with the flex, we are now able to offer study halls for all students throughout the building, and it does not interrupt the rest of their schedule. Another bucket would be the social emotional bucket. This is where we facilitate and implement our PBIS lessons. We offer check-ins and check-outs on an individualized basis. Let's just say, for example, we have a student who perhaps may have experienced a personal traumatic event, and it may have compromised their attendance, at some point. This is an opportunity for either a counselor or an identified staff member to check on that student to make sure that they are okay to start the school day. So we have these check-in and check-out opportunities. We have other SEL group opportunities where the school counselors can pull a group of students and facilitate some sort of lesson related to relationships or coping skills. And then another new feature to the junior high school is the Compass Learning Platform. So if you can think of the Safe Schools modules that the professionals and other staff of the school district are required to review and take, where there's a specific topic, they watch a training video, and they must answer certain questions. This is a platform very similar to that, but offers student type material, such as AI education, coping skills, organizational skills. So these are all embedded under the social emotional umbrella as well. And then the flex period also gives us other opportunities to explore. The music department was so excited for this opportunity because this has been the first time that they have been able to build in an opportunity for the band, chorus, and orchestra, for all students in each of those ensembles to meet at one time. Before that, those students had those courses scheduled, but it wasn't all of the students all at once. But during flex, again, without interrupting any other part of their school day, Mrs. Crotty can meet with the chorus, Mr. Luckenbill can meet with the band, Mr. Albright can meet with the orchestra students, and that has significantly benefited the music program. I mentioned executive functioning skills, and we just always felt it was important and something that's missed because, the school year starts, we want to get right into the academics because we don't have time to lose. But again, going back to that transition to the junior high school, and there's an increased academic rigor, better organization, just teaching the kids how to be a more responsible student. We were able to do that in the very beginning of the school year during Flex, where those first couple cycles of the Flex, we really focused on how to be a successful student. So all of those activities were focused on those skills for the students to then apply to their regular academic schedule. Next slide, please. All right, so by the numbers, so up to this date, so calculated that approximately the students had opportunities for 37 hours of structured study hall time. So that's time in school for them to complete work. A lot of our kids are involved in all types of extracurricular activities, whether they're related to the district or not. So 36 hours of additional time to have to do their work, 17 hours of either executive functioning type lessons, PBIS lessons, 16 hours of our IXL math and ELA diagnostic testing. Now that's important because those 16 hours were usually taken away from those classes. Now all of that is being done during Flex, and it is not interfering with math and ELA class. 13 additional hours of writing, and currently we have 175, which is about a third of our student population, that are receiving either math or additional math or ELA support. So if you figure throughout the rest of the school year, those numbers will double. We're making a significant impact that otherwise was not necessarily there in the past. And again, I can't emphasize this enough, we are not interfering with any other part of the school day. Students are not being pulled from this class or that class to receive this additional support. Next slide, please. So the list of benefits could be a lot longer than that, but as far as the students, it was important that we built all the supports that we feel the students need during the school day. As I mentioned, a lot of our students are involved in extracurricular activities. Most of our students ride the bus, so any after school or before school engagements or support, it's very limited and very random. So we needed to make sure that we had that in school, and so that's there for the students. The time for work completion, again, we have the 37 hours of study hall time that they have to complete their work, and the expansion of the education. Okay, these whether it's the executive functioning, all of it goes back into the regular core learning process for the students, and so that's the expansion we talk about there. Now, the benefit to the teachers is that there's the content and skill delivery support. So for writing, for example, the ELA department, the extension of the writing course, really helps and supports the ELA department there. Decreasing disruptions, that's not behavioral. What I mean by disruptions there, it's again, they're not being pulled from other classes in order to receive those supports. And because they're not being pulled and those disruptions are not there, then that's more time that the teacher can dedicate to the subject area that they're supposed to be teaching. And lastly, just some upcoming ideas or things that are currently in motion. So now that we're in the third quarter, we have more of a PSSA focus with the Flex. Some test-taking skills we'll be delivering to the students. We've thought about the idea of introducing some intramural activities during the Flex time, and obviously some additional intervention supports. The beauty of this, and it's all within the title, is that it's super, super flexible. If something pops up, whether it's academically, socially, we are able to immediately address that without compromising the rest of the school day. In the past, we would have adjusted bell schedules to do certain special activities, and it would just kind of interrupt the flow of the teacher's schedule. Having this period of time in the school day allows us to not only address so many different things, but do so in a responsive manner without waiting for another opportunity to do that. So, thank you.
Thank Thank you, Mr. Brown. Anyone have questions for Ms. Brown?
I kind of have some questions because I'm trying to wrap my my mind around it a little bit. It sounds like a very creative use of time. I'm wondering if on any given day, is there like a breakdown of this many students are getting academic support, this many students are getting, social emotional support, this many are doing the other activities, or is it more like, okay, today we're all doing this social emotional activity type way?
Great question. So, so the math and ELA right now, they're every day. If they participate in band, course, and orchestra, they'll break off for band, course, and orchestra. The rest of the building, so we have our 6-day cycle. So each day is a focus. So we want that consistency, so that there can be some dialogue, and so that the teachers can if it applies to what they're doing in the classroom, they can refer to it. So it's the math and ELA. They're somewhat separate. And then the rest of the building, they're on each day is a different focus. So one day is a study hall, the writing, and so that's the way it looks. Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
So I just want to add for the board context here. As you recall, we're trying to build K-12 systems and frameworks. So when you look at what's happening here at the junior high, we're trying to extend what we're doing with the MTSS that Mrs. Bush and Mr. Hathaway have been leading K-6. If you look at Riften, we have the win time, which stands for what I need, very similar there. So we're trying to build some of this because the high school also does a lot with regards to this and trying to help students from behavioral and academic perspectives. So I think this is just a continued great idea here for us to create a system for kids K-12 so that they can get the support when they need it.
Mr. Fiedler had some questions. Go ahead, John.
Okay, thanks, Brian. Alex, any reaction so far from parents to this program?
Reactions from parents? I would say the few reactions. The reactions I have had were when students, it came from the students first, talking about, well, I already am organized. Why do I need to do this? So I would get a couple emails from parents, and then I would have to explain, well, the school academics get a little bit tougher. We're trying to teach them how to use some of the tools that they're learning in school to better organize their day. So I would say those were minimal. I could probably count on one hand the number of emails or phone conversations I had to have with parents to explain, that response from the students. So I would guess that the not hearing from the rest would be an embracing of the opportunity.
Okay. Second question is, I noticed that the writing category had the lowest number, and given the fact that I taught writing at RAC, and most of my students came from Berks County schools, and I saw day to day lots of examples of writing problems, and these were high school graduates. Can you account for the fact that number is so low?
Are you referring to the hours?
Yes.
I can say it could have been possibly because of the coincidence and where we schedule the writing. If you recall, we have writing on a specific day. So that day may have been a 2-hour delay. So the only bell schedule that we don't have flex is the 2-hour delay bell schedule. It just doesn't allow for that time. So there is a chance that it was interrupted by either that or some other interruption that we didn't have that. So that may be an indication why the writing looked a lot lower than the other ones.
But Mr. Fiedler, I would imagine that that's additional writing and not the writing that regular writing that they also get in their English class. So this is just additional writing.
And as you recall, we did put in a new writing course that was in addition to our ELA for grade 7 and grade 8. So that in itself is just additional core instruction and intervention for kids from writing that's beyond their ELA block.
Yeah, so each student for the entire year has writing as a class 2 days per cycle. So they have them in a class for the entire year, and then the flex writing is all in addition to.
Okay, that sparks another question. That you say they have, what, 7th and 8th have writing all year long as a course?
Correct.
Oh, that's wonderful. Have we always had that?
Last year. Last year was the first year for that, sir.
Oh, okay, all right. And what are the high school English teachers saying, the 9th and 10th grade teachers saying about that as these kids move into their classes?
Yeah, this is only the second year of doing this, Mr. Fiddler. So when
I'm hearing about it. I'm only hearing every third word, so I missed that. Okay. So let me ask it this way then. What kind of feedback or monitoring or measuring are you going to use when these kids do get to high school to measure whether this is being effective or not?
If I could answer your question in a different way, I'll speak about the students' response to the writing. I have heard more feedback from our teachers about students being more excited, having more fun writing, and that was one of the primary objectives to introducing the writing part to the flex period. The technical writing, we left to the writing course, but we really wanted to introduce them to writing opportunities that were more relatable, flexible, and fun to them. They were meaningful, teaching them how to do persuasive writing and whatnot. But we really wanted them to get back to having a passion and fun for writing, and that is feedback that I have gotten from my teachers.
Okay, thank you very much.
So I would just like to thank Mr. Brown and the junior high team for working together to rethink through the schedule. I know that Dr. Alcaro has been helpful and part of that, but it is a big undertaking to change a schedule like this, especially at the secondary level, because there are so many moving pieces and you're dealing with so many students and you're also dealing with electives. So to be able to basically reimagine and rethink a schedule like this and put in all of these different opportunities, it has been a big deal. And the support from the teachers and the feedback that Alex has gotten has been very positive. And so I'd like to thank him, because one of the things that I really had wanted to see was a dedicated writing course. Alex knows how passionate I am about the need for writing. It's something that we are seeing at the K-6 level. It's one of the reasons why we've started to look at different reading programs that embed that, and so it will eventually impact our students at the high school level, because writing is an extremely important skill as an adult. And so it's something that we believe that we really need to have a focused emphasis on here in Exeter.
I think the flex time is very beneficial, especially those coming from Riften, because I think this is their third year with wind time. So it's been a great transition. I can speak personally from 5th, 6th to 7th with having that flex period in the morning like they do at Riften with wind. So it gives them the extra time in the morning to kind of get what they need to get done if they're falling behind or get that support. So thank you.
Yes. In your presentation, you had talked about that you're looking for additional activities for the students. So I wanted to suggest personal finance, business, and introduction to entrepreneurship, all very, very valuable skills for our younger students. I myself, looking back at my education, wish I knew that I knew about business education earlier than I found out about it. My own educational journey would have been very different.
Absolutely, and I know in some of the meetings that we've had behind the scenes about, hey, what are some next steps? There is a platform that the district has access to called EverFi, and we don't use it on a consistent basis. But within EverFi, there are little module units about financial literacy that we could certainly just put in during the flex period for a couple of days. The students could do that.
Federal Reserve Bank also has tons of activities online for grade school, junior high school, and high school level students.
Well, thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you so much.
Great job. Okay, public comment on agenda items, and we don't have anyone signed up. And next we have Mr. Fiddler for Education Committee.
Thank you, Mr. Schaefer. We have just one item on the agenda. It is a non-voting item. 9 field trips within a 60-mile radius. And any questions from the board? If not, that concludes my report.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Fiddler. Finance and Audit Committee, Mrs. Bloom.
Okay, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the 2026 to 2027 Berks County Intermediate Unit Mandated Services Budget. On January 15, 2026, the Berks County Intermediate Unit Board of Directors approved the proposed 2026 to 2027 BCIU budget, which includes the mandated services proposed budget totaling $2,290,940. Attached is a detailed copy of the BCIU mandated services proposed budget to be shared with your district board members. The proposed budget reflects a 3% overall increase for member school district contributions in order to continue to provide high-quality services and technical assistance to our school districts while holding cost increases to a minimum.
And to confirm, Mrs. Bloom, the $2 million, that is Exeter's portion of?
No, our portion is actually, that's our overall budget, but the projected contribution for all districts is $807,000. Our portion, or I'm sorry, $831,000. Our portion would be $48,875.39, which is roughly a $1,400 increase from the previous year.
Thank you, Mr. Fike.
Okay, item B, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the disposal of a senior high school front office laminator that no longer works.
Excuse me, Mrs. Harris. I have a question. What do we do with the laminator when it's out of service? Do you get any money for it? Like, is it like electronic recycling?
Well, first I put on municipal bid. Someone might buy it for parts. If no one
Okay.
buys it, then we'll try to recycle it or
Okay.
dispose of it through the
So we do
trash.
try to get some money out of it before we just throw it in the heap.
Correct.
Okay, fantastic.
But
Thank you.
first, since it's a fixed asset of the district has to approve disposal first. Yep.
Okay. Item C, Ready to Learn Tax Equity Resolution. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the Ready to Learn Tax Equity Resolution.
This is an annual resolution with the tax equity supplement we get from the state.
Okay. Item D, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the donation of $4,000 to the TSA Senior High School Student Activity Club. And item E, it is recommended that the Board of Directors discuss the PUC's response to the school district's complaint regarding the proposed increase. Attached is a notice of an in-person evidentiary hearing, which will require the school district to send an attorney for each day of the hearing.
Mr. Fike.
Yeah, I think this is something we need to discuss. Since you're either a corporation or a municipality or a school district or a township, we're not allowed to send our own individual. We have to send an attorney to represent us. I'm suggesting if we want to do this, Exeter Township is also listed on there. We have a lot of people, so maybe we talk to the township and see if they want to split the cost of having one attorney represent both.
Right.
I did get a letter from PA American Water, stating their position because they got our complaint. They received the comments from the PUC, appreciate our concerns, realize it's never a good time to increase. Our rate request reflects $1.2 billion in water and wastewater system investments made through our commitments to the public and concern. We continue to invest heavily by replacing aging infrastructure. They basically try to justify.
Yeah, and that letter, I'm pretty sure, is not tailored just to the district. There was a letter, I think, that went to everybody that filed a formal complaint. It's just
Well, the other thing that concerns me is this whole system. Individual filed complaints, now they have to take 3 days off and sit up in Harrisburg, to hear their complaint, not even locally here, but it's sort of ridiculous. I think we should also complain to our local representatives, maybe change the laws. But I'll let Sharon talk about it.
Yeah, I actually entered myself on the docket just so I could see everything. And it would not only require either me or the township's solicitor for those 3 days, but it would also require Brian to go, because he would have to be the fact witness. So it's a huge commitment. My sense, obviously, if you don't send anybody, you're not submitting any evidence, and they'll rule accordingly. So it looked to me, when I looked at the docket, several hundred entries. Most of the individuals, a lot of people just wrote letters, and they also got invited to show up for a hearing. I already saw one, I forget, Victory Brewing Company or something. They already said that they're only submitting what they wrote, and they're not attending. But they're a private company, so they don't have the solicitor requirement. So just food for thought.
What would you do as a solicitor at that meet? Like, what would?
Well, I would be presenting the evidence. So I would be presenting Brian and have him testify about the cost to the district and that sort of thing. It's like any administrative hearing where you have counsel presenting the case.
And how many minutes do you think it would take to present our?
Yeah,
piece?
you're just there for the 3 days until it's your turn, and then you can go. So,
Mr. Fike,
can't
do you recall how much money or how much additional money we would likely have to pay if this rate increase goes through? Do you happen to know that number off the top of your head?
Like 200,000
200,000.
sticks in my head right now.
So Mrs. Montaigne, are you going to cost $200,000 to attend this 3-day event?
it would not cost that much.
Okay, so I think it's well worth it that we do it, in my opinion. So I mean, it sounds like it's something we need to, entertain, unfortunately, even though it seems like an inconvenience, but I do think we are talking about a significant amount of money.
Is that annually or just?
Are you annually?
No, I said annually, the 200,000.
Annually, if the full increase they're talking about.
Yeah, okay.
I thought you were asking how much we're paying you annually. I started getting very confused over here. I don't.
Yeah, it
No,
was.
and well, I don't know. If you want, I'll reach out to the township solicitor and see what their thoughts are.
I did reach out
okay.
to the township manager, Bill Heim, and we had a conversation about us both needing to send a representative, an attorney, to the hearing. So I believe he was going to speak to the supervisors to see if that's something that could be combined between the two, the district and the township. So I can certainly follow back up with him.
It was $240,054.
Okay, thank you. I know it was somewhere in the 200.
Mrs. Montaigne, did I understand you correctly that you might not have to stay the whole 3 days, that if you presented your
Right.
evidence, let's say the first day, you would not be required for day 2 and 3?
Correct. But I'm sure we have no control over when we go. You would think, usually in things like that, they will actually give some consideration to government entities and let them go first, but who knows?
Any other discussion?
So should we move that to voting to authorize?
I think we should, but, you know, we need to have more information regarding the solicitor information, rates, that kind of thing,
Okay.
so we can discuss that internally.
But we wouldn't have time,
We'd have to
yeah.
to get
if
on
we
the
didn't-
schedule, and their schedule, we need to do it this month so we can get up there
Exactly.
in March.
If we couldn't vote for it in March and have enough time for you.
I would not suggest it.
Exactly, so it should come to the next voting meeting.
So, yeah, so are we suggesting, depending on the conversation that Dr. Haller has, like at the voting meeting, it could actually be approving a joint effort with sharing a solicitor with the township?
Yeah, I'll reach out again tomorrow.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so it looks like we'll then be moving A through E to the voting meeting.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Bloom. Facilities and Transportation, Dr. Butler.
Thank you very much. The first up is it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the recommended institution to be determined from the RFP received on February 12th, 2026.
At the last board meeting, we had PFM do a presentation. We put out an RFP for the short-term financing for the solar project, which will totally be paid by the savings on the electric bills. We sent out to, I think it was 18 different local or institutions in Pennsylvania, also posted by law in the whatever legal, GENSER, whatever it is, and also on our website. All those responses will be back on the February 12th. We'll have a tally sheet, which will get out to the board before the next voting meeting. But I just wanted to make sure you knew it, and also you saw the RFPs there. So.
Thank you, Mr. Fite. Next, it is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve the GESA Amendment 4 for the elevator at the senior high school. It says this is a presentation.
Yes, we have a presentation by Quandale.
Oh, sorry, I didn't see them there. Forgive
Sherry
me.
and
Come on
Sean.
up.
Good evening, everyone. Nice to be here again. I recognize most of the faces around the table and some new people. My name is Sherry Laura Savage, and I'm the Director of Business Development for Quandale Energy Solutions. And with me is Sean Nicholson. He's our Director of Project Development for Quandale Energy Solutions. As you can recall, back when we did the big project at all of the schools in 2024, was when that project was concluded. We started looking at those projects that might need to be handled in the future. One of those projects being the elevator project that we're here to discuss tonight. So with that, I wanted to turn it over to Sean. He'll give you the background of where we stood back when we were initially looking at the elevator project and where we're seeing it go now.
Thank you for having us here. Yes, as we are looking at the elevator installation at the senior high school. Go to the next slide. I think, there we go. To get a little background on the existing elevator and why we're talking about this, there are several maintenance issues for this elevator. It is an older elevator, and as it breaks down, parts are becoming harder and harder to find. I believe even in one of the last repairs, there were custom parts that had to be manufactured for the elevator. In addition, there are some other issues. It is older and it was much smaller. This one cannot accommodate the newer and larger stretchers that are used by paramedics and fire. So in evaluating the new elevator, we looked at putting it in the same place. There are a lot of structural issues. The newer elevator is a larger footprint, and there's a lot of structure around this that can't be moved. There are some pipe shafts. There are some closets with piping, so it does not look like it's our recommendation to use it in the existing location. So our recommendation is to put it in this location. There is currently a stairwell in this location. It is right next to the gymnasium, so it is very easy access, and it is right down the hallway from the existing elevator. We have already reviewed this with the township. There is no egress concerns. There are several stairways nearby to this, and it would not impact any other exits. And this is also this is our lowest cost option for as far as putting it in that similar area. So when we looked at this last year, the structural engineer had some concerns about how the stairwell was tied into the landings. So over Christmas break, we did some exploratory demo to figure out exactly how those were tied together. That first floor landing is self-supported and can remain. However, as feared, the second floor landing is connected to the stair towers. So that needs to be completely demoed along with the stairs, and then a new landing will be poured in place of that. So the structural drawings are complete and ready for permits. And we are looking at the new elevator. This is a machine roomless elevator, so all of the moving parts for this will be in the elevator shaft and in the pit below. This is not on emergency power. That's something we looked at due to the generator size of the senior high school. This will have battery power in case of a power failure. So it will operate and people can exit the elevator in case of an emergency. In addition, there will be card reader access that will tie into the existing system. That way, anyone that needs access to that can have that, and it will be secure. It will not be a key that can be copied or lost. That access can be revoked at any time by security. It will be larger. It will have a phone for call out, as well as fire service call out in case of emergencies. So looking at project scope and cost, this is right around $1.3 million. We're looking at demo of stairs, demo of that second floor landing. We will be excavating that slab for that elevator pit. We will be building up new shaft walls out of CMU masonry and doing a full complete elevator installation for that. In addition, there will be new flooring, new ceiling, new lighting that will match the hallways, that will give it a nice visual look that it matches the hallways. And then, of course, painting and electrical, both for the lighting as well as the elevator. So looking at the construction schedule, we are looking to bring this to a vote at the February 18th meeting. Mobilization will begin as soon as school is over, and we will start demo right away. Next up, we'll do the pit excavation, installing the hoist beam at the top of the stairs and building those masonry walls. And once that is complete, the elevator delivery will be brought in and we'll complete that. We are keeping a fair amount of time in there for that inspection. We don't have a concern for that just because the existing elevator will remain functional for this whole time, so there is no occupancy issues with the elevator. And that's it. So appreciate your time, and if there's any questions.
I did have one question. Towards the end, you had mentioned that the existing elevator is going to remain in service through the duration of the project. So do we know yet, so once the project is finished, the new elevator is working, do we have a timeline or plans yet of when the old elevator would be decommissioned, and is that going to be walled off, or is that not even a thought yet in terms of what we're doing with that?
As far as this scope, we have not included any of that. It is just going to be abandoned in place for now.
Okay.
And
Mr. Fike, do you have any thoughts on that, or is that something that could occur during the school year? We don't have to wait.
I am praying it stays functional.
You're praying.
Right.
Okay.
Because the last time we had a repair, we had to have custom fabricated parts.
Right. Yeah.
So,
and
so once we have a new one, I'm saying we just seal it off and it's done.
Okay. So that's what I was asking basically.
Yeah, there's no money. I didn't put in here for demolition of the old elevator. Basically sealed off and stuff.
Just seal it off, and nobody would have access to it, but essentially behind the wall or whatever it would be there is it would everything would remain.
Right.
Okay.
Now the other thing I guess we should mention, this was in the bond money that we borrowed, but we weren't sure of how much it would be, and in the meantime, there's also an infrastructure grant program out by the state. We're going to apply under the ADA portion of that grant structure to make the building more ADA accessible. And I'm also going to ask for the emergency clause so we can build it sooner than later, because the grants could take up to August or next year to be awarded. But we're going to try to get part of the funding from the grant. If that happens, then that leaves more of the bond money for the other projects that were put on hold, which was, I think, the auditorium and stage. Right now we have somewhere a little over $3 million of that bond money has to be spent by 2027. Otherwise, we have to start paying arbitrage to the IRS.
Mr. Fike, on this, I think the project cost was listed at about 1.364 million.
Yeah.
I think there was a talk about
I scared you half to death last meeting.
Correct. I think that was like 1.6, 1.7, up to $2 million.
He was floating $2 million out there at one point.
I was throwing $2 million because I had just gotten quotes for cement and road work or macadam, and it doubled since the last year. And they called and said, "Oh, you're going to be pleased. The elevators did not go up as much." Those contractors held their line pretty much, didn't they?
But I think the one thing to call out here is this number only includes the installation. It doesn't include closing off the existing elevators, correct?
The other one's just shut down. The doors are locked.
Okay, so we're just going to leave those closed as is. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if we want some extra money to brick up the walls, we can do that, but I'm not sure if we really need to do that.
I didn't know what the plan was. Perfect. If we're okay leaving those as is.
All right. And the plan for the landings, we'd actually have the fobs and the doors, so only the people that need that would have access to the elevator. We had talked about this, yesterday or the day before. We could have either had the fobs on the elevator doors, but then we'd have this huge area of the landings in between that kids could go in and congregate, which they shouldn't have access to. Only people that need the elevator should. So we're going to put the fobs on the outside doors. And fobs, I think we talked to Eric, prefer that than the existing keys that we have for the elevator, because keys are hard to get back. Fobs, we can just shut them off. Other? So I'm going to give we're going to finish up the Geese amendment, and right now it's a not to exceed the 1.364. I think what are we waiting for? Two more quotes come in? Is it the fob access or the door access?
Exactly.
But we're sure it's going to be underneath that or less.
Yes.
So when they get that, I'll send it to the solicitor for your review for the board meeting. But I mean, if the board's still wanting to go with it, I need to advertise this Friday that we're looking at the Geese amendment for the February 18th board meeting.
Any other questions?
Anyone opposed to this? Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sean.
All right. It is recommended that the Board of School Directors approve providing Exeter Township Parks and Recreation transportation for their 2026 summer program field trips. Attached is a list provided by the Exeter Township School District Transportation Department to the township for these services. Field trips are subject to change. The board authorizes the superintendent to approve changes.
We did the same thing last year for them. While we're talking transportation, I want to give a shout out to our transportation director that actually came in at 12 midnight on Sunday to take buses over to help evacuate the was it Fairview, where they had the gas leak? Yeah. So.
Just to clarify, we are doing this at cost, right? There is no.
Correct.
Yeah. Okay.
In that case, we're moving. Do we have to move B, or did we already? Well, yeah, it says we have to. So, sorry, A, B, and C to the voting meeting. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Dr. Butler. Dr. Herring, personnel.
Thank you. Next meeting, we'll be voting on resignations, appointments, additional assignments, as well as retirements. I want to highlight our 4 retirements. We have Justin Fries, the mathematics teacher at the high school with 33 years of service. Noelle Janowski, the learning support teacher at the senior high school, 18 years of service. Carol Moyer, third grade teacher of Wotton, 36 years of service. And Tracy Powell, science teacher at junior high with 35 years of service.
If I could just, all of them are fantastic teachers, but if I could just take a moment to highlight the work of Carol Moyer. She's been a teacher obviously here for a very long time. She taught 2 of my 3 kids, Riley, and she taught Maggie. And having been her principal for that brief year, she is just a very high caliber, just a consummate professional, and just really loves what she does and is just so kind to kids. And it's a loss for all of them, but just that personal connection with Mrs. Moyer, I'm truly going to miss her, and I'm going to miss working with her, and I wish her the very best in her retirement.
I know. I told Annika that Mrs. Moyer was retiring after being a teacher for 36 years. And she said, I thought she was 36 years old. I know. That is quite a compliment, so I thought it should be recorded in the minutes.
Okay, so we'll be moving item 8A through D to the voting meeting. That's everything.
Thank you, Dr. Herring. Policy, Mr. Mill.
Thank you, Mrs. Schaefer. We have the second reading of Policy 807, opening exercises, moment of silence, flag displays, where we are amending the policy to include the POW/MIA flag. Any discussion from the board? That is all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Mill. Anyone in the audience who would like to make a public comment on any topic, since no one signed up? All righty. So we will be forwarding the following items to the voting agenda. Finance and Audit Committee, items A through E. Finance and Facilities and Transportation, A through C. Personnel, A through D. And Policy, item A. Did I get it all? The board will meet in executive session immediately following this meeting to discuss a safety issue. Are there any board members who wish to be heard at this time? Okay, our next meeting will be our voting meeting on Wednesday, February 18th, 2026 at 7 p.m. If there are no objections, we will adjourn the meeting.